Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing the handover on the brand new Expedition 67 from Motor Trail. So coming down to the driver's side of the vehicle, the first thing in the car, there is a gas indicator, as it's got an underslung gas tank, so this will tell you how full your gas is. And then you've got your two fridge vents, and they both have got the covers on at present. And then behind here is your toilet. As long as the blade on the bottom bowl of the toilet is closed, you'll be able to lift the blue handle inside that you set out. Take the cover off, so it exposes it like this, and then go to your waste disposal point and just press the button. Empty. Once you've emptied, you'll be able to put some water in, give it a shake, give it a rinse, and then you can then fill the cap, which is your measuring stick, with chemical, pop it into here, put the cap back on and slide it back into the vehicle. Coming further down, you've got your two drain down points. So you've got your blue, which is fresh water, and you've got your grey, which is wastewater. So you drive over a grid and say you've taken on any contaminated water with your fresh, you can drop it, and say if your waste is full, you can drop that as well. So anything that goes down the plug hole goes to your waste. Drive over a grid and simply open. In the winter, it's very important that you leave these completely open so no water freezes. And then on the back, you've got your mains connectivity point. So get your hookup cable, slide the collar and hook up, and then to unhook there's a small lever here. Always hook the vehicle up first and then the side. Now on the back of the vehicle, to open the rear doors, we've got two buttons here which hold the doors back to 90 degrees. So if it's a nice day and you want the doors open, you can do. And then underneath here you've got storage and a hookup lead. And then on this side you've got exactly the same storage just in here, so you can get your various items in there. Then if we walk onto the passenger side of the vehicle, all the Expedition range is fitted with a underslung gas tank, which is 25 litres. So this is your gas flow system, and you go to your local LPG centre, get the bayonet fitting gun onto there, tighten the front of the nozzle, and then pull the trigger, and it will fill until simply it won't fill no more. And then next to it you've got your fresh water intake, so you can lock this with the key, so it is a lockable cap, and you put a hose pipe in there and fill it until it overflows, or fill it until you're happy there's enough water on board. And then down here at the passenger door you do have your diesel filler, which opens with the third key. So it's a lockable flap, and because it's a Euro 6 compliant engine, it's got AdBlue. So it's an AdBlue solution. It'll come up between the temperature and the fuel gauge, and you normally get between 5,000 and 6,000 miles before it needs AdBlue. 20 litre tank, and you can fill from almost any petrol station, or you can buy it in the drums and fill it up yourself. Inside the door you do have your tyre pressure, so 5.5 bar all round, which is 79.5 psi. And then underneath the floor is where your main engine battery lives, so it does have to come out through the floor. And then the passenger dashboard is where the bonnet release is. Also underneath the seat is your toolkit, so it's got a jack and a brace, a tow eye, so everything you need to be towed away or change your spare wheel. Now if we just have a quick look underneath the bonnet, I'll point out the various points that you need to know. So first of all, you've got your weight plate, so it's 3.5 tonne gross vehicle weight, and then it can be, if you put a trailer on, it can be up to a train weight of 6 tonne. You've got your paint code here for the Nero Black, then you do have your oil filler and dipstick, your brake fluid, your power steering fluid, your radiator fluid, which this lifts off to fill those two, and then in the corner you do have your screen wash. And if you ever need to jump start it, you'd put your earth on here, and then you'd put your key into here and just lift this flap up, and you pause it onto there, and that's how you jump start the vehicle. So once inside the vehicle, above your habitation door you've got your main control panel, so you turn it on here. This will either give you 12 volt or 240 if you're hooked up, and then you've got all your lights inside the vehicle, which are then all individually switched, and your pump, which operates your water system. So if you want to use any water device, taps, toilet, shower, you must have the pump on. And then you do have your awning light, and then you can read your levels. So you can read your leisure battery, your vehicle battery, your fresh and waste water. Your battery select always wants to be the leisure, and then you can adjust your time on the date there. Across from it you've got your heating and hot water system. So this is the new wheel system. So what you need to do is wave your hand as it's motion sensitive, and then that starts them up, and then you can put them onto either electric, and then the number of dots above is how many kilowatts. So 1 dot is 1 kilowatt, 2 as it is there is on 2 kilowatts. If you pressed and held again, you can go to 3 kilowatts. Or you can go to gas, and this is the heating of the vehicle, so you can bring it right the way up. And this is your water, so you'd wake that one up, then you can put on electric. 1, 2 and 3, and that's heating your water. Should you get an exclamation mark down the side, there's 2 little buttons on the bottom which look like a recirculate button, which are your reset buttons, which you press and hold to reset the system. So stepping into the Expedition 67, you have your table with your 2 travelling seats here, your kitchen down the side with the worktop extension, which when you lift it up and to make it go back down, you just slide these catches off and fold. Storage in here, cutlery storage there, storage underneath with your mains 240 trip switch. So you've got your isolation for your 240 on the boiler there, which then is controlled from above the door. So if you didn't want that on, you can turn it off there, but I just leave it on and control it from above the door. Underneath here you've got your gas taps and your boiler drain. So it's very important that you drain the boiler down in the winter, and to do so you would put it across the vehicle like so. When it's to the front of the vehicle, it's holding water, so it needs to come across the vehicle and drop the 10 litres of water out the boiler to stop it freezing. Otherwise, if it does freeze, it's a very costly mistake and isn't covered under any warranty. So you drain it off by putting it across the vehicle, open the waste and fresh outside, open all the taps within the vehicle, and remove the shower head from the hose and allow the hose to lie in the shower tray. You then do have your sink with folding tap and your 2 gas hob. Your fridge, top right your fridge, you've got 3 sources. So you've got off on the top, you've got mains on the plug, which is 240 when hooked up. You've got battery, which comes when the engine is running, so it sends a feed off the alternator. It's not the leisure battery, it's off the alternator when the engine's running, only to keep the fridge at the same temperature it was. So it basically turns it into a cool box. So the idea with it is that you either cool it down on gas or electric first with your shopping in, allow it to cool, and then you can put on a battery when you travel. So if you're lucky enough to keep this vehicle at home, you would put it on a hook up the day before, put your shopping in, allow it to cool, and then when you're ready you'd put on a battery. Otherwise you can't go on to gas, and to light on gas you would just, this is your temperature ring, so you can, but you'd push that in and push that in as well, and then the orange band will go into the green. So that band will move into the green, and then that means it is lit. Also, when winterizing, if you take any shopping out of the fridge, any remaining food items out, give it a wipe out, and then if you push this in and slide these 2 toggles out, it stops the door from closing on itself and allows air ventilation in and out the fridge. Above you've got your wardrobe with your boom arm table, so you've got your leg and your tabletop, which just locates in the floor there underneath the step. You've got your locator here. You do have storage underneath your travelling seat, so if you just lift the base up, you then have storage underneath. So to make the bed up at the back, first of all, if you lift the cushion on the passenger side of the vehicle, you've got two bars which are your support bars. So if you get these out, and then if you just lift them both up slightly, put one here, and then you've got another bar which goes at the back, so it's just to bear the weight when the seat is down and the bed is made up. And then if you just slide into the middle and use the back rests to make the bed, like so. I'd also advise turning your base cushions upside down as well, as you get a flatter surface to sleep on. So underneath this seat on this passenger side, you've got storage up to here, and then you do have your leisure battery with a 20 amp fuse. And on this side, you've got storage. You do have your EC 176 power supply unit. So you've got your system shutdown button at the back. So if you wanted to winterize the vehicle and stop any power drain, you can pop that out. You've got your heater and charger on 240 volt. You've got your RCD main trip tester and MCB should the vehicle have tripped, try here first. And then you do have your blade fuses, which are all listed what they are and what amperage they are. I would carry some spares just in case they do blow, you can replenish the fuse. So now in your washroom area, to operate your toilet, what you need to do is flush it first with the blue button on the back. Once you've flushed it, if you open the cassette, so the blade, use the toilet with the blade open, then flush after use and close, so slide to the left. It must be closed to get the cassette out from the other side of the vehicle, otherwise it simply just won't come out. And then on the back in the corner, it's green. Once it goes red down here, it indicates that the cassette is full. You've got a fold down sink, which then once you've used it, if you slowly tip it back, as it then runs into this channel in here for the water and then drains down, and if you put too much it will just overflow as it's not that deep. And then you do have your toiletry cabinet and a full shower screen to come round. And when winterising, if you take your shower head off and allow your shower hose to lie in your shower tray, as you can see it's got quite a loop in there, any water can freeze in there, and leave all your mixer taps open. And then now in the cab of the Expedition, you have the handbrake to the right, your electric windows, sorry, your mirrors you've got to manually move, your blinds you slide up, and then what you need to do is locate this into the groove, and you can then slide it down, and then the one on the windscreen just slides up like so. You've got the same kind of blind on the passenger side as well, and then just to the right of the driver you do have your headlight adjustments and rear fogs, trips on the end of the wiper stalk, which goes through the middle screen, tells you your range, your instant consumption, your average consumption, your travelling times A and B, lights and indicators, cruise control off and speed limiter, and then you'd set by pushing up, and if you have to brake you would then resume. 6-speed manual gearbox with lift the collar into reverse. ASR off's just another way for turning the traction control off. Right, and then this locks the doors with there being a van conversion. You then have a 12 volt for charging and a 12 volt for cigarette lighter. Glove box in here and glove box on there, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning. So you'd go for temperature on the outside ring, fan speed must be on at least one or more for the aircon to work, distribution and circulation. They don't come as standard fitted with a head unit, but all of ours that we sell, we do put a head unit in them. So it'll be a single DIN DEB head unit. And then to turn the seats, little lever here, slide it slightly forward if it gets caught on the door, and then you'll be able to turn it round into the rear.